viewers, welcome back to Rise and Shine, live here on Tobago Channel 5. On our program this morning, Mr. Leeandro Noray, one of our colleagues here at Tobago Channel 5, but he's not sitting here this morning as an employee of Tobago Channel 5, but rather a tutor, a music tutor for the sound and music camp. He went all the way to London, and he's back to share his story. Good morning and welcome to you, Leeandro.
Morning, everybody.
Now, Leeandro, your name is known throughout Tobago, not only associated with music, but in particular, the pan. Your pan has been described as your baby, the wife.
Yeah.
He drives around with the wife in his trunk.
You should not tell him. I don't leave it too more often, no, because
You're too much info, yeah, too much info. But good morning, welcome back.
Thank you.
Tell us about the opportunity. What was the opportunity to be able to teach music in England? Tell us how that came about.
Well, let me see if I can start from the beginning, basically. Is one of my cousins home, Kurt, we were just talking and he was telling me he have a little marching band that they started in the Noray church. And they was talking to this lady, Jenny. She's from in the UK. She has a house here, and she was telling him that she needed one person for a program. They said it was different to what he had, and she was talking about the pan. So automatically he tells you, well, you have a cousin. He pushed you onto me, and we went and meet she, and she was just talking to me, and she said, right, so you had to meet this lady called Alison. Alison Cox is the lady who is in charge of the music program. It's a summer camp that they keep once a year, every year. I think this is the 5th year, and basically what they do, they look for some of the best young musicians in the whole of UK, all over England, wherever, and trying to get them for 1 week to do a camp. You have different sections like composers for classical music, or who into jazz, or who into different things, they clap and making different kind of songs, everything. I meet some kind of different things up there, and like, wow, eh? We will call that noise because they do no kind of thing and they start in the ground and that is music.
All rhythm and all
everything.
music.
It was so that's basically I reached Alison and she explained what it's about and and everything, and basically we talk, find out how much is for the tickets to the flight and everything until I was there. Actually surprised that it actually came off because it was like no more than 3-4 months before that actually got onto Alison and we start talking about it. So they already had their handbook printed with all the syllabus and everything. I was nowhere there yet. And they end up fitting me into everything when I get there.
Okay. Noray, how long have you started music, to learn music or to do music?
Well, I started playing pan since like 94, but the first time I did any kind of theory was in 97. Yeah. And I now joined, actually I now passed common entrance and now went in our boys and they had a pan minors course. So I took the pan minors course from there. That time was Mr. Frank Stanisclaus was the person who was doing the course. There's a certificate program where you could get either like a pass, a merit, distinction, and I think they're using the Royal School of Music as the place to evaluate and say if you really pass or not, that kind of thing. So that is basically where it starts.
Okay, but your music in Trinidad and Tobago, how do you see it fused with the books and the musical paraphernalia in England?
Basically, what they wanted to do is the group that I was in was a cross-cultural composition group. So they have a group of us, I think it was 19 students was in our group. And they basically already know how to read music, how to write music. They understand all of that. But this now, they was teaching them how to learn to compose their own music. And basically using different instruments. So some of them never see a steel pan before. They heard about it or they probably see it somewhere, but they never really get a chance to touch it. Then I gave them a chance to play it and see what was the difference. You had to explain to them what is the range from, if it's from middle C to whatever, so they could know how to write for it because everything is on a sheet they're writing. Yes. You had to tell them how the pan is made, chromatically going fourths and fifths which way, so they could understand, so they could be able to write for it. So sometimes you had to give them the sticks, let them try it, so they understand, oh, okay, it goes this way, now they could understand. So that's basically how we did. I had steel pan, they had tabla, harp, flute, and I think piano. That was the 4 people that was in our group. So the students had to compose a piece using those instruments.
Using the 4 instruments.
Yeah, because that's the 4 teachers was in that group. Steel pan, flute, I think the flute or clarinet. clarinet, a B-flat clarinet, harp, and a piano.
So essentially, is the composition for, or is composing music for each of these instruments that you call different?
Totally. And that was their major challenge. Their major challenge is, I never see this instrument before. I had to try to understand what it is, how it is made, all of that in basically 2 days. And then after they go through all these courses that, you draw the diagram on the board and try to explain everything. How is this, how is that, how is that? So they use the first 2 days to try and let them get acquainted with the instruments. Then after, they started get to writing a piece one time, because the courses was only from the 4th to the 10th. So they didn't have much time. So like the first 2 days, they used that to kind of give them all the information they need. And the other days after that, they get them into it one time, starting to compose the pieces. I think they use one more day to let them do something where they call a taster. Like some from the jazz group might come across by this group and see how this thing, and mix it up for one day so everybody get a taste of everything. Because they even had a group was doing writing for film. And I ain't gonna lie, that group really amazed me. Because
writing for film?
Film.
How is it different? I would have thought it was just let the music play.
Hear what them do. They gave them a 30-second clip with no audio, just video. So they sat and watched that and have to go and compose a piece and put music behind that to make sense of what they just saw. And they did that in an hour. They just give them, let them go through, look at the video, tell them where they want to use either Sibelius to write the music, because they're mainly using Sibelius. It's 2 main music notation softwares they have. They have Sibelius and Finale.
Does it have to do with scores?
Yes.
Okay.
It's either Finale or Sibelius. Mostly in the US, you might see Finale as the standard notation software that people use. UK, they're mostly using Sibelius or Logic Pro. That's the music editing software that is used on Apple. That's Apple software. So only Macs with Logic or Sibelius. So you could choose either to write through the software, or they have a keyboard hooked up to the computer so you could play it through Logic. After that, in half an hour time, they have to go across to the studio and get that piece recorded one time. So after they write, it's just 30 seconds. So piece of music for that 30 seconds clip. They have some of the professionals in the studio who will just put the paper up, play exactly what they gave them, and they go back across and put that to connect to the film and hear what it sounds like. And you will not believe those kids were like from probably 13, 14, 15 to like about 18. And the kind of music these children come up with in that space of time, you could see that they were some of the best students that they really picked.
Now,
really good.
What they were doing there, being able to write music for film, can you do that?
Yeah, but not as fast as them. Okay, not yet. Yeah, you can take some more time, because that is first time actually see how that process is. Yeah. But it's not hard. Basically, it's a mood. It's actually something what I expected. What I didn't expect is the speed that they could, they actually understand. You show them this now, you tell them this is how it is, and in no time they say you have 10 minutes to write something for that. And they just go on, play something, like this song good, Then they print out the score, across to the recording room, record back there, put it on. But the tutors would be there to tell them, well, this wouldn't quite work with this instrument because you could only use 4 sticks, so you might have to change this and that. So during the writing it, they could call the tutors to make sure before they go to record. But besides that, that was different.
What were some of the key areas that were focused on for the sound and music camp?
Basically, they know that age group is most of the students are probably now leaving high school, looking to go to college and that kind of stuff. So that the program is certified in the UK that they could use this as credits. So they try to see how much they could help the students. Now they have something recorded professionally that they could go to the audition and show this is what they got from the school. This is, they could show the music sheets where they wrote everything, and that, and the merit and the information from the course, they could use it back when they're going for the auditions and that kind of stuff for colleges. And all the colleges have connections with the sound and music program. So that's what they was doing. It make plenty of sense. I had 3 people out of the group try to write for the stipend. I would say try because 2 of them were good. The other one wasn't too sure. So they had little parts that they just had me like, not much in the piece, because they had one person playing the clarinet or somebody on the harp and different stuff. So you could see they were more focused on that, and they tried to implement the pan, but it just didn't work as good. But there were 2 others that totally understand exactly what they was doing. It was a challenge for them because every 2 seconds they would call you back. Could we do it like this? Or if I told you to do it like this, could you do that? You know, and you had to play it for them and show them, yeah, that could work. Okay, thanks. They'll go back and they started putting this down and they'll come back. This make any sense? You look at it and say, well, okay, this part might work, but this wouldn't work. If you change this, so it might work. Say, okay, scratch that, go back on the computer, make the changes, and by the time the end of the week, we were the last group to perform. Basically, all the groups had to perform their pieces for the students. All the tutors had to perform the pieces for their students, and we were the last group. So we actually closed the program on Saturday morning. It was nice.
Okay. In passing a while ago, you talk about they can only use 4 sticks. Is that what the rhythm?
That was the marimba. How that the marimba basically is a percussion instrument. You play just like the pan. You have to strike it, but they use 4 sticks. One down there, one side is spread out, and they play. You actually hear it in movies all the time. You just hear it, but you don't know what instrument it is. So if they have 4 sticks and they write on the score, they want this chord, like this something major with an added 7 down. At the same time, they can't. It's only 4 sticks. So you have to know exactly how to write for certain instruments. That's the reason why they try to show you from the beginning how this instrument works and how to write for it. Yeah?
So, Leeandro, having said that, how many instruments you can now write for? I know you're a pan genius and you can write any pan music, but coming out of that tour of England there.
Well, composing is different to arranging. I mostly do arranging. So that was a learning process for me too. The good thing is that I didn't have to compose anything for them. I just basically had to show them how the instrument works and let them compose for the tutors, and we play their piece. But being there and seeing how everything is done, I'm pretty sure I might go into composing just now because it's not as hard as some people might think. To get an idea, it could just come from a mood. As you bring that up now, there's something where they call a graphic score. Graphic score is nothing like the usual score sheet that you see with the music going across on lines, going all the way down. It's actually somebody probably just draw something like, yeah, that was actually somebody photos there. That was in one of the classrooms with the tutors. That is the actual studio. Nice.
What about it impressed you? Because I know you are impressed by this.
Well,
what impressed you?
The way how the room is made up. You know, the professionally done one room is actually for the recording, the other part is for the mixing and stuff. So even if the other person is in another room doing all the recording, you could be laughing as hard as you want, mixing everything there and doing everything on the other side, and watching them through the glass, and they can't hear anything. You know, that's a school. That's a school for young musicians. And if you see the quality of instruments and the rooms that they have, all the rooms have that guy in the black in the back. If you could pose a photo for this one. His name is Cool Jit.
His name is?
Cool Jit.
Cool
He's
Jit.
a tabla player, Indian music tabla. That's where he's sitting by. The guy on the left of him that's the man or the young student who wrote the piece for tabla and steel pan. And that big white paper that looked like a whole sort of stuff, that is a semi-graphic score that he wrote for the steel pan and tabla. That was actually my part that I have to play. So you might see certain parts that is notation that looks like normal notation, then certain words, then, okay, Leeandro is going to do this here, and then he will go back to notation. So it's basically, you know, it's like scribble that piece of this here, and then you say, okay, you go and you could improvise here, and you go come back and go back to the first melody here. And so he couldn't just print it as a normal score, because tabla basically don't have no certain notes, unless he tune it to sound like a C sharp, and tune this one to sound like a D, because you know it's a drum. You could only get to dung, ding, 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 according to how you set it. And if you heard that piece that come out for that steel pan and tabla, the crowd, they never heard anything like that. People just talk, they talk. It's like, they couldn't believe. But that same guy, Cool Jit, he actually played in a lot of major films in the US. Like, I think Apocalypto, the movie where they had this guy running for the whole thing. They tried to catch him, the kind of bush-looking picture. He played some of the kind of Indian drum music in the back of the film. All of them is big composers, huge musicians that they bring in, so the students could actually get a professional view how their music would actually sound like eventually. So I've never seen anything like that.
How did you receive funding to get to the UK?
Well,
Out of pocket?
Well, partly, but thanks to the division culture, that they actually helped reimburse me for the ticket, because time was kind of running out and I couldn't wait. So I summed up the money for myself to buy the plane ticket. As soon as I got there, they took care of everything. They sent a taxi guy, and I stayed on the campus. Everything was controlled from then on, from them. But to get to come up and go back the flight, I purchased it, and then they helped reimburse some of the money.
Okay, so, which was really nice.
Okay. Yeah, it was good.
So Leeandro, a few seconds. How would that experience in England
work down here?
work down in Tobago?
She's actually, Alison, I'm speaking about, she's actually trying to get that program in Trinidad and Tobago. So she basically was asking me if I could find the right people to talk to and see if they could have a branch of the program, because they want to spread it around the world. It's in the UK right now, and from where they see, there's nothing like it, nowhere else. They have other camps, but the way how they pull professionals from major industries just to be able to work with students to see how the real life in the industry is nothing like that. So they try to spread it. And actually, as soon as I came back, Alison told me a guy who's a teacher in UTT saw the whole stuff on Facebook that I was posting, and he contacted her and said it's a long time he wanted to do something similar to that. So now she tell me get in contact with him to see if he could do something locally down here. I think they're planning to come down. They might bring probably a group of about 20 of the tutors and that kind of thing to try to start the same thing here. Because they want to fuse the culture. They don't want you to just totally change the way how we do things down here, because they know we usually play by sight. Some of us will read, but we're more focused on the sight and memory. Remember what you play, and you could just fall back on the sheet just to be able to basically follow. So they want to merge what they're doing up there to what we're doing down here, because they say they came down a few years ago and talked to the culture minister and stuff, but nothing really came out of it. So they want to try again. Now they have someone who live here to see if they could help, and now they get a teacher in UTT. So it looks like it probably might come off.
Okay. Well, we're wrapping it up there, Leeandro. All in all, how was the experience?
If they call me next month, I'm taking vacation again. That example, it was real good. It was totally planned, organized to a T, every single step of the way. They had no time to waste. You start 8 in the morning to 9 in the night. Straight, every day. Because they have this part going on here up to this time, tea. Stop, you go back again, right down to lunch. Back again, straight down, tea break. Back again, straight down, dinner. After that, they might have probably a half-an-hour session again to close off and let them know what they're going to do tomorrow. Bedtime. Every man, Jack had to be in their bed, all the students, by 9:30 for the most.
So you learned, there was some serious degree of discipline.
Yeah, that stuff was totally planned out. It was really, really good. I'll give them that. It was
lessons
really
to be learned, lessons to be learned. Leeandro, thank you for being on the program this morning. It was a pleasure chatting with you. I'm happy that you had that experience. We saw all the Facebook posts and the comments. Every day he put something up. So we were able to follow his journey in the UK. Well, viewers, we're going to take a break at this time. When we come back this morning, we will be chatting with Minister Dr. Damon Baker. And we're going to focus a little bit on the responsibilities of MPs. So stay tuned and join us just after this.